All right, Senergy family, welcome to this beautiful Saturday and to our Senergy Foundation of Health preview. We have an exciting show for you all today. I am really excited because we're going to do something a little bit different, a little bit outside the box today. We're going to give you a ton of incredible information. We're going to cram it all into 2 or 3 hours this morning, this afternoon, wherever you're tuning in from. And we're going to preview how you can get a really deep dive on our 2-day event coming up in March 7th and 8th. We're going to touch on, if you're a practitioner, how you can get a really intimate knowledge that almost no one in the world right now has with our amazing frequency therapist, Danielle Palmer. I also have the wonderful Scott Tennant, the founder and CEO of Senergy, joining me here today to share some things with you as well. So we have all kinds of amazing things for you. Let me share my screen here if I could, because what we're going to do today is we are going to build the foundation of health together. This is something that you probably have never before seen. This is something that we talk a lot about, but I wanted to go into what that actually means. What is the foundation of health? What does that look like in practice? What needs to happen in order for us to get there? So let's do that together. Everybody awesome with that today? Awesome. I love it. I love it. Before I get into anything, I do have to go through the disclaimer. This is for educational and informational purposes only. We are going to go into the Senergy devices, some health-related topics, and by attending, you agree that this is voluntary. None of this at all is medical advice. I am not a doctor. I do not play one on the internet, nor does anyone else here today. This is not a substitute for any medical professional advice, anything. Consult a legal or medical professional for any advice that you might need. You are assuming the risk, the liability, and if you do happen to interact with us, we reserve the right to use any of the quotes. This isn't really an interactive experience today, but other events may be. So if you would like to opt out of that, you can do so in writing at info.senergy.us. And that is all for the disclaimers. So let's get right into it. So the foundation is absolutely critical to any structure, to your body, to anything that you're doing. We need a firm foundation, right? We're going to today hopefully go from this before picture to this after. We're going to build it together as we go through this presentation. All right. So what does it take to build a firm foundation? We're going to go through, what does it mean to get a good contractor, that guide for your project? You want somebody that you know and trust to bring you through that journey. What is the vision? What's your needs, your wants, your desires? What do you ultimately want that foundation to look like? What are your constraints? What are some limitations that you know you're not going to be able to overcome in your build? We're going to work around those. What's your mindset? How are you going to stay focused on that ultimate outcome when things might get a little tough throughout the process? What are the permitting needs that you might have to get through? Ensuring your desires meet what's possible. We're going to do the demo. We're going to remove all of that existing debris, that waste, those toxins, so that you have a clean slate on which to build. We're going to go through the materials. What are the actual building blocks of that foundation? What do you want in that ground there? And then what equipment do you need to build it the best that you can? Are you going to have a little pickaxe or an excavator? What are your options there? And then how do you learn more? How do you figure out what is really, really best for you? And this is going to be an interactive experience. So if you don't already, I would suggest that you get a pen and paper or get your computer ready to take some notes, because at each step of the way, I'm going to have you write down what it means to you. What are your unique desires for each step so that you can put together that whole picture of what you want your health foundation to look like so that you can make 2026 your best year and far beyond that, better than your wildest dreams. All right? Sounds great. So, a firm foundation is key. Let me show you, before I get into anything, why that is. So, this is you, right? This, at first glance, it looks like a nice little cottage here, right? But you see the window might be a little bit broken there. You have a couple patches on the siding in the front. Your door is misaligned. There's that temporary fix up on the roof there. Things are obviously showing their age. It's still optimistic if you look at the nice flowers in the front, right? But there's definitely things that could use some improvement. So what do? Well, you start biohacking, but you start the gym, you start the sports, but you're just building on top of that already messy foundation. So it starts to get a little wobbly. You try that meditation, but you can't get your mind to turn off that monkey mind, right? You're looping and it's just not working for you. You try the vitamins and supplements, but you're not getting the results that you thought you were going to get. The physical therapy, yeah, it might be helping, but you're not anywhere near 100%. You're not getting back to where you need to be. You try the sauna, the cold plunge, but that's just adding more stress to the system. You didn't clear that slate, so you're just it's not working. Also, you go for even more and more. You get the pills, the injections, the surgeries. You're going to the alternatives. And then by the end of it, you look like this. And you're like, I tried everything. Why isn't this working? I still don't feel right. Is there any real hope? Maybe this is just how life is. Why even keep trying? I guess I'll just have to get used to it. And that is what your house looks like. You just started piling things on to that shaky foundation. You're trying the things that you saw on the internet or that somebody recommended, and you're wondering why you're not getting the results. Well, this is why you did not start with that firm foundation. So, how do we avoid that happening? How do we avoid that progression into a clearly unstable system? A firm foundation is the key, as we said before. So what does it take to build that firm foundation? It starts with an amazing contractor, a partner that's going to be your guide throughout the process, someone with a proven track record. You don't want just anyone off the street, right? You want somebody who has shown to get results over decades, pioneers in the industry, perhaps, who's going to give you that white glove service, take you from A to Z, be with you every step of the way, customize that foundation to your needs, and really be part of the family, be like a partner in this journey with you. And I can think of no one better than our very own founder and CEO, Mr. Scott Tennant of Senergy Wellness. He is now going to come to the stage. He's going to show us what it looks like to be part of the Senergy family. Scott, what have you built over these past decades? What does it mean when you buy a device, you become part of the Senergy family?
Yes, yes, and truly, it's a family. We started out with the name Synergy, and you'll notice it's spelled differently. So an SY, it's SE. So really, it is energy of a family, energy of moving together forward together. We call it care for the caregiver. And that's one thing when you call in with our amazing advisors, you find out that your family. We want to know about what's going on with you, where you're coming from, what's going on, and how to help you move forward. So truly, it's a family white glove service, like you said, and care for the caregiver, and that's you. If you go down, others suffer. If somebody you care for goes down, you suffer. And so, really taking that time to become that CEO of your own health is important. And we understand that. We have from the very beginning. We help you mind, body, soul, figure out what's going on and help you make the decisions with your other guides, your physicians, your naturopathic people, your chiropractors, that your trainers, your nutritionists, people that help get you where you need to be. So the frequency is so very important. And like today, you're going to hear from the beautiful energy therapist, Danielle, and you're going to learn about the way we teach. We teach now with theory and practical. Most other courses are all theory or they're all practical. This is a course that she's designed to help lead you to where you need to go. There's multiple pathways: a basic course, an advanced home user course, and then a professional course. And so that way you can truly find your lane to be that CEO of your own health and help the people that you love with an understanding of why and what you're doing and some adjunct things that come up to help you there. So that's why we created Senergy. That's why we created the family. So thank you, Alex.
Awesome. Thanks, Scott. So yeah, it's really important to have somebody like that on your journey with you that's going to help you steer uh, all the decisions that you're going to make and who has had a proven track record. Scott, can you just talk about how many people have joined the Senergy family over the years, and just maybe touch on one or two experiences that they've had to highlight how what they can expect when they join Senergy?
Oh, sure. Thousands of people worldwide. And that's what's amazing is to, meet these people and hear their stories. So thousands of people worldwide. I've been in airports in foreign countries and somebody says, wait, I know you. And it's pretty interesting when that happens. But, they share their stories. And one story that just came to mind was a very famous actress was at her, one of her doctors. She had doctors in New York and doctors in LA. And she had a very straightforward routine in her life. On Monday, she did this. On Tuesday, she did this. On Wednesday, she did this. And she knew how to get ready for each thing in New York and in LA. And she was filming in LA, living in New York, flying back and forth. Her doctor in New York that she'd go to once a week would give her an IV and would use the devices on her autonomic nervous system and to charge her while she was having her IV. She noticed that she did not have pain and had a better general wellness when she was in New York, when she had the IV with the devices. She noticed that she did not have a good experience in LA doing exactly the same thing, and the only thing that was missing was the correcting of the autonomic nervous system and the charging up of the body and treating her areas of pain. So, putting it together, she bought the devices for herself so she could continue the therapy and take it with her. And so about 2 weeks after using it every day, she noticed that now she had no pain and she had a better general wellness lifestyle just by adding that to her other routine. Stack the good stuff. And that was really amazing because she's an awesome actress. She could act like she had no pain, but she knew deep inside it was just wearing her down. And that worry and that stress and trying to cover lowered her voltage in her body. So once she had that basis where she was clear and concise with an autonomic nervous system, she could act any way she needed to, happy, sad, whatever. But she had the body that she always wanted and the physicality that she always wanted to be able to sustain these long hours on the set, and her advocacy that she was doing at the same time. So that was just one story. But people understand how an actress and people like that in politics or whatever have this lifestyle that goes from 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. And so it's a way that she tackled her life with gusto and found some peace. And she used us as a guide and got the other people together so that way she can now work with the team. So that's what we notice here. And that's just an extreme case of somebody that, had a lifestyle that's probably 2x what we do in a daily routine.
Yeah, it's an extreme case, but a small shift that made
Yeah.
all the difference. And because she had the guide to help her on that journey, she was able to make that little difference that made all the difference in the world to that demanding schedule. So that is a great, great point. So, like I said, this is going to be interactive. And what do you guys want to see in a great contractor, in a great guide to be with you on your health journey? If you could write that down now, that would be fantastic. And we're going to keep writing as we go. We're going to put it all together at the end, and we'll be able to hang on one second, and we'll be able to put it all together, all those pieces. So thank you again, Scott. That was fantastic. Let's keep right on rolling along. If you don't have time to write everything down, in the interest of time, I want to keep everything moving. So if you need to watch a replay and pause it, or you just write on a blank sheet of paper, write a couple of things that pop into your mind right away, and then go back later on your free time and fill in those gaps and create everything together. That is a great way to do it as well. But I'm going to keep right along going. As you write, just think of things might come to you later. Write them down as well, because this is your life. This is the foundation. We want to get everything on paper, and then we can move forward together. All right. So that being said, what is your vision? Now you have the right contractor by your side. What does a firm foundation mean to you? What are your needs, wants, and desires? How is it going to be? What's your style? What's your preference? Let me show you an example. Which of these do you prefer? Do you like the ultra modern house by the beach with the pool, everything sleek, clean edges? Or do you like the countryside villa, completely in nature, everything picturesque? Both are absolutely beautiful, right? But they're very, very different. And your foundation is going to be different for each. Figure out what your vision is for your future. In health, that's going to mean, are you gearing up to become an athlete? Do you want the ultimate body? Are you in the prime of your life where that pain is slowing you down, but you really have things that you want to do? Or are you on the older side and just want to have the freedom to spend time with the kids, the grandkids, enjoy your life with your partner or whoever, your friends, all of that? Do you need to gear up for the sport of sitting? I mean, a lot of us have jobs that demand a lot of sitting, and I know if I stay in my chair for too long, my back starts to ache. So I grab my biomodulator and I'm ready to go. Because I have a lot of demanding work to do. Are you going to be weightlifting? Are you going to be pushing your body to the limit? Or you just want to hang out with your friends? What is it for you? Why are you building this foundation? What do you want to do in your life? Envision your ultimate superhero. What does that mean? See it in crystal clear, vivid colors, and then write it down. What is your vision for ultimate health? No holds bar here. Write down anything that comes to mind. Your ultimate health, your ultimate body, your ultimate energy, whatever it means to you. What does that look like? I'll give you a few seconds here, and then we'll head on to the next one. For me, I just want to be able to hang out with my kids, to be an amazing entrepreneur, father, husband, all of these great things, and to have energy at the end of the day after I've done so much already, so that I can continue to give and be a blessing to others. That's really what it is for me. What is it for you? So, like I said, no holds bar on the vision. However, there's naturally going to be some constraints. There are maybe some limitations to your build, some pre-existing conditions that you know exist, that may be physical, maybe financial, maybe time. What are your willing trade-offs as you build that foundation? What are you willing to go through? What are your limitations when you start to build? Now, these don't have to be negatives. I mean, a lot of times these known limitations can create opportunities that other people without those limitations don't have. For example, you can see here, you get that home on the water only when it's built right up against it. There's no other foundation area on which to build. So you have a clear shot of all that crystal clear blue lake right there. Or you get that perfect little spot right in the heart of the city where no one else chose to build because it was just a little triangle, but you took the time, you took the risk and built that right in the center, and now it becomes an icon. I love these. So your limitations might be a blessing in disguise if you allow them to be. So what is it for you? Do you have a demanding job where it's really strict and you need to get things done right now? Are you on the older side where your things aren't working as well as they had before? Do you have a physical limitation that you know is not overcomable? Are you gearing up for a marathon or an event where you know you have time pressure? You have to get things done before that occurs. Or are you just a little overweight like my friend here up in the top right corner, where you know that you need to tackle that as well as you do all of the other things that are building the foundation? What is it for you? What are your current limitations? Some of them you can overcome, some of them you have to work around, but what are they for you? Let's write those down. Are they financial? Are they time? Are they age? What are your known limitations so that you can start to build around those or lead a path to overcome what you can? Write those down now. For me, I really didn't have too much other than time and of course money as well. I wanted to make sure that my money was going to get the best value for the dollars spent. And I was getting really frustrated because I was spending them on things that weren't getting the job done until I met the biomodulator. I'll talk more about that later. But it was really disheartening to throw good money after things that were not working and then have that time slipping away where I couldn't get it back. So I made sure that I made best use of my available resources, and that's why I am here today. So what is it for you? Write down the constraints that you're going to build around for your foundation. So that takes us to the mindset. Mindset can make or break your health transformation. You need clarity on what lies ahead in order to have that willingness to see it through. If you focus on that ultimate vision that you just created, that ultimate outcome, then you're going to have that optimism, that determination to get through the setbacks, the overruns, the delays, which will inevitably occur. It's not going to be a straight path, most likely from A to Z. There's likely going to be some challenges to overcome. And if we have an amazing mindset at the outset, then we are able to get through those that much better, that much more efficiently. So what is it for you? Are you willing to put in the work to get the job done? Or do you just want to make little incremental changes without too much effort? Are you going to sprint up those stairs, climb that mountain, choose the tough road? Or do you just want things to be that much better, that little just reduction in pain over time, nice and easy? What does it mean for you? This is going to be fun for me because I get to show you what my vision was for my house. This is my actual house at the Jersey Shore. This is what it started with at the top there, this is what I bought. The roof was leaking. Everything pretty much was like that little cottage that I showed you in the beginning. People, including my parents, thought I was absolutely insane for buying this property because of all of the issues and challenges that it had. But I had the vision and I had the mindset, and I had a great partner, my wife, right there with me, who believed that we could do it. So we bought the house and we turned it into our dream home. We completely demolished it. We did all the framing. I was actually the contractor because I chose wrong. I chose the wrong guide for the project, and it caused a lot of challenges. And if I didn't have the right mindset, I would have let that derail the entire thing, and we wouldn't be living in our dream home today. But I took it from what was a teardown to this at the bottom. It looks even better than that now. We have some other things. My wife is doing all the landscaping. That's her deal, but we're covered in snow. We're supposed to get another 16 inches tomorrow. So I don't have any current pictures of that. But do you have the vision to see this basement into the kids' playroom, this bathroom with a stick-on little window stained glass there into our dream bathroom? Do you have the vision for this kitchen that's falling apart into a nice open concept, or this empty room with scuffs all over the floor into a place where we're happy to host our family each occasion they love coming over to the house? What does it look like for you? Are you willing to frame that mindset and push through those challenges, meditate, continue on your journey, even when it gets hard? Write down the mindset strategies that you want to complete your health goals. Write those down now. I know that project was very, very difficult, but we got through it because we started with a strong mindset. That is critical to any project that you take on, especially with your health. You've done things the same way for a long time. It's up to you to make that determination on what you're willing to do to make your health the best that it is in 2026 and far beyond that. So write down your mindset. And I Scott's here. He does coaching. I've been a Tony Robbins leadership person for almost a decade now. So please contact us if you have any questions on that, as well as any other questions about the devices. We would be happy to help in any way that we can. Now, you did all the stuff that you can do, but you need permits. We found that out the hard way when we were building. There was all kinds of permitting issues, all variances and all these things that we needed to get through in order to make sure that our ideas matched what was possible on the plot of land that we bought. We needed permission from the authorities so that we're benefiting the entire area, all of our neighbors. We needed to get that final sign off in order to start construction. That was very, very important. And it's the same with your health. Before you get that rubber stamp, you need to go through potential testing. You need to make sure that what you think are your constraints are actually all that you need to worry about. You need to contact the professionals, like I said before, and get the sign off from them to make sure that everything is going as planned and that the people that are around you are going to benefit as well. We're not isolated. We're not just ourselves. We have friends, we have family, we have neighbors, we have people that are going to be on that health journey with us. We want to make sure that everyone is benefiting. That is the ultimate, when not just our health is improving, but we're improving the lives of all those around us based on our health improving as well. So one of my favorite examples of a permitting issue is Rockefeller Plaza in New York. Now, we all know 30 Rock, it's got the NBC studios, the beautiful ice rink, it's got the huge Christmas tree during the holidays, the light show, all of that great stuff. However, when John D. Rockefeller was first building it, he had some permitting issues. Now, you can see here on the sides of the screen, there are two very tiny buildings on the side of Rockefeller Center. Those two landowners would not sell to the richest, the most powerful person on the planet at the time, John D. Rockefeller, when he was trying to build this structure. So he was forced by the city to build around it. They wouldn't sell, they wouldn't force them to sell. He could not get the permits for the rest of that property on Rockefeller Plaza. So he just built around them. And those two buildings still stand there today as a reminder that sometimes you have to build around what the authorities tell you is possible, but you can still make it happen. You can still make it iconic. You can still do what you need to do to have your ultimate vision come to reality, along with your neighbors. So I love that little example there. So who is it for you? Who is going to come along on that journey? What cascading effects could come of that transformation? Who's there to pick you up when you fall down? How do all the pieces fit in your health journey? And write that down. Who do you want along the way? Who do you need to get some sign off from? Who do you want to consult as you go? And make sure that all of your assumptions match what's on paper and match what your actual limitations are in any way. And that when you do go on this journey, that it helps everyone. If you're looking at it from a psychological perspective, there's different levels of an experience, and the ultimate level of experience is something that not only helps you, but helps all those around you. And that's what we're looking for. We're not looking to just get healthy for ourselves, right? We're looking to get healthy so that we benefit those around us as well. And that makes it that much better for all of us. And it'll help you as well to get that motivation to go that much further and beyond even what you may think is possible. So who is going to come along on that health journey? Who do you need to get sign off from? Who is doing some permitting? What testing do you need to get done? Write all of that good stuff down so that you're clear on what needs to happen around that. Cool? All right. All right. So got the permits. Everything is ready. But like my house, there's an existing structure there. So we need to clear the path ahead. It's demo day, right? We're going to remove all of that unwanted debris from all the buildup from years past. We're going to prep for construction, get rid of those toxins, those hazards, all that waste. We don't want that around as we build something brand new. We want to start with a clean slate to build upon. We want to make sure that what we're doing is clean. So does that mean, what does that mean for you? Do you need just a little mop and broom here, clean things up? Things have been relatively good. Do you need to enlist some other people to help with some of the cleanup here, make it look better than it was? Or do you need to take a wrecking ball to that thing? You haven't been treating yourself well. You know it. You really need to do a dramatic overhaul with some heavy, heavy equipment and really commit to doing this project. What is it for you? What level are you at in terms of your current state? Be honest with yourself so that you can clear the slate to build that firm foundation on which to move forward. Because if we don't, then we're going to run into things that we could have easily avoided. We're going to hit obstacles that if we had just taken a couple days, a couple weeks, whatever it is, this is your ultimate health. You don't want to rush this if you can avoid it. You don't want an obstacle down the road that you could have cleaned up in a day, but now it's going to take a lot of remediation because you move forward without cleaning that simple thing up. You don't want some toxins hiding in the soil that are going to cause problems down the road. You start to build, and then it starts to leach into your foundation, and you have to knock the whole thing down again because it's a hazard that you didn't clean up right away. Or you just left that existing foundation there. You tried to build on top of it, like in the beginning of this presentation, and it just started to collapse because you didn't take that time. You don't want somebody pulling back all of the progress that you're making. You want it to be as simple, as easy, and as clear as possible to move forward in the most timely manner you can. And that takes a little bit of time up front to clear away that debris. So again, I ask, what is that for you? Is it the mindset work? Do you need to just calm things down? Is it the junk food? Do you need to uh, renovate, so to speak, your dietary habits? And do you just need to have some more fun? Do you need to go on some vacations, play with your friends, do some light cleaning? What is it for you? How are you going to do that demo, clean everything up so that you can detox the best you can? So write down your detox plan, become that superhuman. Whatever it is for you. For me, I do some fasting. I try to do it once a quarter. I've done juice fasts, cleanses. I do just water fasts. Those are great every once in a while. Make sure, again, you check with the people that need to be checked with to make sure that you're healthy enough to do these things. And what is right for you. I'm not going to tell you what diet to choose. They seem to recommend something different all the time, but check how does your body react to certain things? What do you know you need to clear off your palate in order to have your ultimate health? What exercises do you like to do? My wife loves doing hot yoga. I last about 5 minutes in that room, so it's not for me, but I love going to the gym, lifting, those kinds of things. Those are what light me up. And I do green drinks. I do all kinds of stuff that I really, really enjoy. So make sure that your detox plan is sustainable, that you enjoy it. What does it look like for you to clear that slate, to get in the good nutrients and minerals that you need in order to build that solid foundation? All right. How are we doing? We got about a little bit more time. Okay. Now we're going to get to the materials. So you cleared the slate, you got all the permits, you're ready to build. What materials are you going to build your foundation with? How are you going to make sure that it is built to last? It's proven, strong, firm. You want some of the best that you can afford in the industry. If you or what does it look like if you want to build that house on the beach versus that house in the city? How different of a material do you need for each of those? What is the research? What's the latest science? What meets your unique needs for that particular project? And for this, I am going to bring up the amazing frequency therapist, Danielle Palmer. She has tens of thousands of clinical hours with hands-on experience on some of the best materials that you can use for your health in the world. And she is going to go deep into why they are so effective, why the science there substantiates all of that stuff and why you should pay attention to energy and voltage as the key piece to your health foundation. Let's bring to the stage Danielle Palmer.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. Very excited for you to be here today. And I'm very excited to talk to you about why the biomodulator is such an incredible tool and to better understand how it can help your body. So with that, let's get going. So I would love, I just want to make sure that I can actually control this. Oh, there we go. Okay, good stuff. All right. So getting going here. Why is this all so important? Well, the thing is for many, many years, we have focused on the chemistry of the body. We've focused on the biology of the body. But the thing is we've focused basically on, all of these building blocks, all of these things in our system, like, maybe hormones we've looked at. Maybe we talk about supplements. Maybe we track our glucose, maybe we work with peptides, depends on what we're doing. But why are we doing all of that if we're not looking at the control system, the master control that affects everything? And so that's what we're going to talk about today, is how this machine does that. So to start off, of course, you are an electrical being. This has been spoken about for years, how we are very much energy, right? Every single cell in our body requires voltage to function. Every heartbeat, well, that's an electrical depolarization. Every thought, those are action potentials. Every contraction, that's an ion exchange. And every ATP molecule, that's an electrochemical gradient, right? Electricity is not a side effect of biology. It is the precondition for biology. And that's something that I want you to understand today. We cannot have proper chemistry in the body. We cannot have proper biology if we don't have proper voltage, but also proper signaling. So that's what we're going to talk about. So, us who are interested in the health and wellness space, if you call yourself a biohacker, if you call yourself just somebody who's interested in integrative medicine, integrative health, we tend to look at everything. We track everything. We look at our HRV. We look at sometimes, VO2 max. We look at our sleep with, our sleep trackers. We check our inflammation markers, but we don't measure the signal that actually controls all of that. So what happens when we optimize that chemistry without optimizing the signaling? So a little backstory on me, and this is something that I haven't really talked about too much before. So when I was 2 years old, I was diagnosed with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. And my parents were basically told that I was either going to grow out of it or I was going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. And, spoiler alert, I am not in a wheelchair. So yay. But the thing is that left me with daily pain. That was my normal every single day of my life. And for me, I didn't know any better. So I didn't really realize how much pain I was actually in until about age 22, when I didn't have it anymore. And then I realized what my body had been going through for all those years. I remember being, 8 years old playing softball and trying to get into the position to play catcher, and I couldn't. And I thought to myself, well, how come I can't do this, but everybody else can? I didn't understand, because my parents actually didn't tell me about any of this until I was 18. And so I had no idea. I just knew that my body didn't work the way that other people's did. I would go for a layup in basketball, and obviously it didn't stop me. This pain didn't stop me from doing anything because, I say I'm a redhead and very driven, but, I played every sport imaginable. And just having that pain on a daily basis, that was just my norm. So, basketball, I would go up for a layup and suddenly my knee would go out and I would fall. And I didn't understand why that happened. And the thing is when I became 18, and when I learned, what this was, it didn't really strike me. I didn't really understand the gravity of what that diagnosis meant. And so I didn't really get it until about 22, when I suddenly started losing the vision in my right eye. I almost went completely blind in my right eye because of all the inflammation in my body. I started getting floaters, and then suddenly my vision started going. And Western medicine, their approach was, of course, steroids, all the chemicals, and even low dose chemotherapy. And that was when I said, that's enough. And so this breakthrough for me, it didn't come from a lack of chemistry, right? It came from a lack of regulation. And so that's why I'm so passionate about this, because me at 37 years old now, I can move better than I could when I was a kid. I don't wake up every day feeling like I'm 90. And so not only did this transform my life, but it also transformed my career. And so that's why I'm so passionate about talking to you guys about this and how this can change your life. So why does this work? Well, our bodies are the most amazing computer in the world, but we know that if that computer doesn't have power, then nothing really tends to work very well, right? So number one, we need voltage. And I want you to start thinking about your body a little bit differently. So your body, it's the most amazing computer. We have that hardware. Those are the physical structures of the body, the tissues, the organs, the cells. And then we have the power, right? The cellular membrane voltage and that electrochemical gradient, right? And so basically, when you think of a cell, I want you to think of that membrane around the cell. And essentially that voltage controls that membrane. And so when you have low voltage, that membrane gets a little thicker, oxygen and nutrients can't get in, waste can't get out. Well, that's inflammation, right? So that gradient is really important. The software of your system, well, that's the nervous system. And that signaling that coordinates all of your bodily functions, right? So if your software is not working properly, then how can we expect the biology and chemistry to work properly? And then we have the output, which is what all of us tend to focus on, the measurable results, right? Hormones, inflammation levels, recovery, HRV, all those things. So why aren't we looking at the base layer of all of this? So let's talk about the cells. Every single cell in your body requires electricity to function properly. And like I mentioned, if that cell doesn't have the proper charge, then that membrane around the cell gets thicker, oxygen and nutrients can't get in, waste can't get out. And inflammation is the root of everything, of all disease states, of all issues that we have. I know that firsthand. And I'm sure a lot of you listening to, you guys know that firsthand too. So every single type of cell in your body has different charges. And so, if you think about neurons are about 70 millivolts. Skeletal muscle, that's about 90 millivolts. So everything's a little bit different. But how do we really access all this? We're going to talk about that. So if you think about the chemistry aspect of the body, so mitochondria, this is a term that gets thrown around a lot, mitochondrial health. Well, what is that? The thing is, so your mitochondria, it requires so much more charge than anything else. And I want you to really get this in your head, because we talk about ATP, adenosine triphosphate. That is the fuel of all of your cells. Without ATP, you are not here. But what creates that ATP? ATP depends on that membrane potential. It depends on electricity. If you don't have the electricity, you don't have ATP. Foundation. Now let's talk about the nervous system. Now the nervous system is the master regulator of the body. Every single thought, every single action, everything that you consciously are doing, but also subconsciously are doing, every breath, every heartbeat, It's all controlled via your nervous system. And if that's not functioning well, then how can we expect our bodies to function well? So I'd like to run into something called C fibers. Now, this is something that we haven't really talked about too much with this device. And this is actually one of my favorite topics because C fibers are pretty incredible. Now, often C fibers are called pain fibers, but there's so much more than that. And that is so incomplete. These guys, they release substance P, CGRP, they influence vascular tone, they influence immune signaling, and this is all proven with studies. But the thing is these C fibers, these make up about 80% of your nervous system. And where's the best access point for these C fibers? Well, it's your skin. And there's something very special about these C fibers because the signaling that affects them, this action potential impulse, so it's so soft, it's so delicate that most devices out there completely bypass it. We always think stronger is better, but that's not the case. People hit themselves with high-powered PEMF every day. Well, sometimes that's not the best answer, right? TENS units use about 1,000 times stronger of electrical current, and they're completely bypassing these fibers. This is one of the most overlooked aspects of your health that nobody talks about. And so basically, you have these little impulses coming out of your machine. It comes out every millisecond. Your nervous system speaks so fast and has this incredibly intricate conversation all over your body constantly. So basically this device, sends out an impulse, reads what the body sends back, and then it's adjusting that next signal slightly. Well, it's speaking that same language, and it's so delicate and so soft that it's able to create that cascade throughout the C fibers. And we've shown that stimulating these peripheral nerve pathways, it can help a lot of aspects of your body. It's not just, so obviously FDA class 2 for acute and chronic pain, right? But we have so many benefits that we can get of, the rest of our system, of supporting the rest of our system. So if all this signaling is what controls the chemistry aspect of the body, why are we just optimizing chemistry? Why don't we look at the voltage and the electrical aspect of the body? Why is the signaling treated as secondary? It's a good question. This is what we aim to correct here. Now, I want to touch on most devices out there, right? So most biohacking tools, they're broadcasting at you. They're talking at you, right? They are using preset outputs. They are not changing in real time. That's the difference between responsive bioelectric systems like this. These are contact-based. They measure tissue impedance. They listen to the body, and they're adjusting their output dynamically based on the feedback that they're getting. So instead of just sending something at you, it's having a conversation with you. And not only that, it's speaking the exact language of your nervous system. And that affects everything. So that's not to say, of course, we have other tools, right? Of course, there's TENS units out there. Of course, there's vagus nerve stimulation. Of course, there's PEMF. But all of these things, like I said, they're sending something at you. This is not TENS. TENS units use about 1,000 times stronger of electrical current, and they have a fixed signal that never changes, completely bypasses the C fibers, doesn't talk to it. Vagus nerve stimulation, a lot of the devices out there, same thing. They're just talking at you. This device, it's speaking the same language as you. And I can't drive that home strong enough because there's nothing out there like this. I have seen this transform so many people. Now, here's the thing. We always like to measure, like I said, these outputs. We measure our glucose, maybe. We measure our HRV. We measure our sleep. We measure our VO2 max. We measure our inflammation markers. But what's going to control that? this. So in 16 years, and I have over 36,000 hands-on hours with these devices now, I've seen this change a lot of people. I've seen it transform lives. Just a little bit about me. I teach globally. I just got back from teaching over in the UK, a bunch of practitioners over there. I'm really excited to be teaching in Texas in a couple of weeks. We're going to teach you guys hands-on. The home users, we're going to actually give you some hands-on practical tools. You're going to be working with me and Natalie Sakamoto, my counterpart, who's been a neuromuscular therapist for 25 years, taught at the top school in the country. And we're going to show you how to use these devices for much more than you've seen in many, many years. Let's just put it that way. And the thing is, the reason why I want to share this with you, the reason why I want to be there hands-on working with you is because you have one of the most incredible tools. If you own one of these devices, you have one of the most incredible tools that you could possibly have to transform your health. And I want you to understand how to use it to the best of its ability. It's not just about polarizing the body. It's not just about giving you voltage. There's so much more that we can do, and we can get observable, measurable results for your health, because I have seen this in clinic. I work with the sickest of the sick. I've worked with everybody from professional footballers in the UK, professional athletes here, all the way up to stage 4 cancer patients, ALS patients. I headed up I actually created the frequency department at the largest integrative cancer center in North America, and introduced bioelectric medicine. This is something that brings me so much joy, because you see the difference of the people doing this therapy versus the people just addressing the biology and the chemistry. So I want you to start thinking about longevity in a very different way. And this is something that every single person needs to be thinking about. We have disease states and rates going through the roof right now. It is all about prevention. So we have to think about longevity. Okay, longevity is the health of your cells. This is not a supplement problem. This is not a peptide problem. This is not a diet, calorie, whatever problem. This is a coordination problem. We need to make sure that not only do we have proper voltage, but we need to make sure that our software is operating properly. And we have so much around us that is disturbing our software that is more important than ever to make sure that we are running the right program. So I think that the next frontier in health truly is signaling. And that is why I use the biomodulator in my practice all day, every day. This is one of my favorite devices. This is something that I have seen absolutely change outcomes for people. I have a lot of clients that have these at home. I have very ill clients that use theirs every single day without fail. And that's been game changer for them. This is precision micro ampere signaling. This is real-time impedance biofeedback. This is peripheral neuroregulation, okay? This is addressing part of your system that nothing else can touch. This is designed to totally influence your coordination and not override it like so many other devices out there. So here are some of my sources if you would like to do a deep dive, because everything that I talk about is always backed by science. It is always backed by studies. There's going to be a lot that we're going to talk about at the summit, and I'm super excited to talk to you guys. We're going to do a very, very deep dive, not just in talking about polarization, about scalar, PEMF, microcurrent, all these signals, but also we're going to talk about voltage in the body. And we're going to do a deep dive on a cellular level of all these different aspects. So I'm so excited to talk with you. And if we have any questions, let's go ahead and do that now. Oh, and thank you guys for the comments. You guys are Awesome.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, please let Danielle know. She is going to be answering any of the more scientific questions. Danielle, could you go a little bit more while we're gathering some questions into kind of what they can experience, what they can expect to experience at these events, both the March 7th and 8th and the 12th to the 14th, a little bit about the differences there.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really excited to be there with you guys. So, this is something, and just the reason why we're doing this is, so I've done trainings all over the world. I've trained with a lot of the pioneers of frequency medicine globally. And something that I saw in so many of those trainings was that it hit one little piece, but didn't look at the entire picture. It was very much like Scott was saying, it was very much either theory and no practicum, or it was all practicum and no theory, right? And it was just a little piece of the puzzle. So for home users, for our events on, the 2-day event, that one, I want you guys to really understand how you can use this, because this can be helpful to you in almost every circumstance. And so, this is something where for me personally, and I'm not making any claims, right? But for me personally, doesn't matter what's going on. I always bust out my device. That is my first thing. It doesn't matter if I'm having gut issues. It doesn't matter if I'm having a headache. It doesn't matter if I, hurt my shoulder at the gym. If my little stepdaughter got whacked in the head with something, it's always my first tool that I grab. And just knowing how to use it like that, that's what I want. So we're going to spend hours with you guys, both days, hands-on, showing you the basics of how to actually use these devices all over the body, but also some advanced tips on, how to work with certain things. So not just the device, also the transducer. So we're going to show you, how you can work with neck pain, shoulder pain, maybe joints, things like that, but also general support, like, supporting your entire nervous system, supporting your gut, things like that. And then the practitioner training, very excited for this one, guys. This is different from our online program. So, and what's great, we're all about you guys getting the most education that you can possibly get. So what's nice about this event is when you buy a ticket to this event, you also, as a gift, are getting access to the online practitioner course. So you're getting over 100 lectures online, plus this 3-day event for one cost. And Natalie Sakamoto and I have spent hours and hours and hours of our time putting everything together, because we want you guys to have such a good foundation of why all this is so important. So we go into a really deep dive online, but in this 3-day course, what we're going to do is in those 3 days, you are going to learn why this device is so effective, how to use it properly, what you're looking for on the body, advanced protocols to use with your clients, how to get the best outcomes for your clients, how to optimize this usage in your clinic. And by the end of these 3 days, you are going to be a competent and confident practitioner. And so excited to bring this to your clients. So 3 days, come join it. And I see a question. We're not going to record the in-person, the whole in-person practitioner training, because that is one where I need you there. I need you either there or on Zoom with a demo body so I can watch you, because that is we need to make sure that you properly know how to use this device. So we're going to be doing more of these, don't worry. And we're going to be doing them in different locations as well. So if you can't make this one, because I see somebody can't make this one, that's okay. There's going to be more. And if you purchase the online program, you can start there and you get a free ticket to an in-person event. Okay, so we want you guys to get that theory online, and also there's a ton of demo online as well. But we want you to get that, and we want you to get an immersive 3-day hands-on. We're working with you, we're helping you, we're correcting you, showing you what to do. So you can do it either way. If you can't make this live event, purchase the online course, and you're going to get a ticket to the next one.
Awesome. Thanks, Danielle. Yeah, that's going to be super, super fun. Very exclusive. If you're a practitioner, if you want to be a practitioner, this is, like I said, something that almost nobody is doing, right, Danielle? Tell them about the international certification on that, because that really excites me.
Yeah, so we have worked with, so we're actually working right now with an international group that is going to be giving some awesome perks for our therapists. And I can't say too much on that yet, but just know that we are doing some really cool things, and you guys are going to have a lot of perks, but we are also joining a global community of therapists. You know, like I said, we just got back from the UK about literally a month ago. And we're training therapists over there. We're actually going back after we see you guys in Texas. We're going back to the UK in April to teach about 40 therapists. So we're very excited for you guys to join this global community because we need more of you. So
awesome. I love it. I love it. So a lot of that is going to be practical, hands-on, amazing stuff. Can you talk about in this webinar about the importance of doing the autonomic nervous system reset, that baseline of the therapy, how that changes what happens in the body as the first thing that is done? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, your vagus nerve reset. So if your body is in sympathetic mode, so we have sympathetic and we have parasympathetic. So sympathetic is I'm running away from the tiger, right? Parasympathetic is rest and digest. That's where our body can actually heal. The problem is most people are running around in sympathetic mode. Okay, this is we're constantly running away from the tiger, and we don't realize it. You know, we're surrounded by all these things that are stimulating our system. We have work stress. We have, you know, all these other things going on, and our systems are kind of in this high gear. You know, I have to be on high alert. And so us doing this reset actually allows us to jump back into that healing mode. Okay. And the reason why that's so important is because if you're in that sympathetic mode, your body's not healing. Your body's not digesting properly. It's not operating properly at all. Okay. And we constantly have to repair because we're constantly getting damage.
Yeah. Absolutely. I know that made a massive difference for me. Scott had mentioned that before with his client. As soon as she started doing that, it made all the difference. Now, you focused on people, obviously, so far. Can this also be used on animals in any way?
Yes, absolutely. I actually use it on my animals, and that's actually something. So we do have an advanced home use course. Right now, it's a ton of demos about how to, you know, use it on you for all sorts of pain issues. But that is something that we're going to be adding to that pretty soon, is how to work on your animals, because, you know, there are little families too, and you can use the transducer on them. You can work hands-on with them, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And we're also going to be adding, by the way, a lot of work with the transducer on there as well, and some more general wellness support. So once we do add that, the price is going to go up a little bit. So once you get access to this course, you have access for life. So, you know, if you want to get in now and start working with all the, you know, pain referral patterns and all that, awesome. And then you get access to all those new things that we're doing. So animals, that's coming.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Now, all this sounds amazing. And for all of us who have experienced the biomodulator, we know it to be true. Can you talk a little bit about quantifying these results in people? Can you speak on that at all?
So, yeah, I mean, I've seen remarkable improvements with people. I mean, you know, I can't do like third-party testimonials, right? You know, stuff like that. But the thing is there's actually measurable data that we've seen with people's nervous systems before and after. So being able to see that they are in this sympathetic mode, and then literally just by doing the vagus nerve reset, the autonomic nerve reset, it drops into that parasympathetic. And we've seen it go into that parasympathetic very, very quickly, because there's tools where you can actually look at all of these things in your nervous system. So I know that there's actually some studies being done right now, which is very exciting. But so that's a way that we can track. I also have a lot of clients that, they're very much into their, their Aura rings and their Whoop bands and all the things, right? And so, yep, you got it. And so they're tracking their sleep, they're tracking their, HRV, all these things, and they notice a huge difference when they're actually using their device versus when they're not using their device. Me personally in clinic, I see huge changes. People come in with, pain in a certain area and can't really move it very well. And then they walk out and they have some really good improvement and not really feeling much pain anymore. I have clients that, they weren't really responding to other treatments the way that they were hoping, let's say with like IVs and things like that. And then they started integrating this, and then things started really clicking and working for them. So, I've seen a lot of outcome. There's a reason why I work with this technology. There's a reason why I've been doing this for 16 years. And also, I keep a very full book. I'm at 3 locations and I don't advertise. So there's a reason for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, everybody, let's give it up for Danielle in the comments. If you have any other questions, Danielle, are you going to be sticking around for just a little bit, or?
Be sticking around for just a little bit. And I just wanted to let you know, so we are probably, I see, no dates past March yet. We are going to be announcing those dates pretty soon. There's going to be probably another training during the summer and then the fall. We're just going to get you guys those exact dates pretty soon. So just FYI, they are coming.
All right. Thank you, Danielle. So let's hear for Danielle in those comments, and she will be sticking around to maybe answer a couple of questions via the chat there. But she does have a very tight schedule, like she says, so she may be leaving very shortly. I am going to take this opportunity to share a couple of the before and afters that we have seen over the years, because they're so important to see what these devices can do. This is my favorite one, because it is so dramatic in the shift that happened for this gentleman here. 73 years old. He gets into a bike accident. This is him before. I probably should have said a little bit of a disclaimer here that these can be a little gory at times, but you can see the after, and it's not, which is amazing with these devices. 1 week later, the transformation is phenomenal. Massive reduction in all the scarring, anything that is wrong from that before and after just 1 week at 73 years old. This is just an incredible transformation, and it happens over and over and over again. Here we see some x-rays where we have a substantial deviation in the left clavicle here. After just 2 minutes of the biomodulator stimulation, we see a 43% change in that deviation, much better alignment in the spine, all that good stuff. It's just incredible. Like I said, over and over. This is another one of my favorites. A 50-year-old woman who has been like the picture on the left for years, bedridden, could not walk. They just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And you can see on the right, this wasn't over several months, several years, nothing like that. 2 minutes of direct electrical stimulation in her foot, and it goes back to normal. She got her life back because of the biomodulator treatment, because she put it on. She didn't believe what was happening to her. She got the first foot done, went to show people the difference. They said, no way. She does the other foot. It does the same thing. And now she uses the biomodulator maybe 2-3 times a week, and she can actually walk and do things like normal when she was absolutely bedridden for years before this therapy. Just 2 minutes was all it took, and now it's just maintenance for her. That is absolutely incredible. Here's another x-ray, shoulder severely tilted on the top. You see that 16 millimeters of deviation there. We see almost a 60% reduction in that misalignment with just a few minutes of biomodulator therapy. Again, over and over and over, we see this. And here we have this young boy, son of one of our dear affiliates, and somebody that we absolutely love. He got into an ATV accident. You could see really, really bad. They didn't think he was going to be able to walk after that. It was totally horrendous. They didn't think that he had any hope of the scarring going away, that it would ever return to normal again. But just 6 weeks later, you can hardly tell that anything happened at all, because we got the biomodulator on there, the biotransducer, the whatever we could do, we were in there. And that is very important. As soon as you can get it on, and it will hopefully reduce whatever is going on there, accelerate the recovery massively. I know that my son just broke his wrist. Similar situation to this, where the doctor's like, it's a compound fracture through the growth plate. It's not looking good. He's going to be out of all sports, everything, for at least 6 weeks. We go back 2 weeks later for his checkup, and everything is not just better than it was better than before the break. So he couldn't believe his eyes, even for a young kid. He's like, this acceleration was absolutely incredible. What did you do differently? And we used the transducer, which is a great, great tool, because it can get there even when he has the brace on, even when the cast is still around it, where you can't get that electrical stimulation of the biomodulator. You can use the transducer and get it on there, because it goes right through that stuff, as I'll get into in a second here. But you can start the therapy right away. You do not want to delay in doing that. So, that is absolutely incredible. I'm going to be getting into all of the logistics here in just a second for those of you who have questions on that. But I wanted to go back into the devices themselves, because like Danielle said, she's getting results that are absolutely phenomenal. We've seen it in all kinds of clinics. If you would write down, now that you know the importance of energy in that foundation, what are your must-have health foundation options? Is energy a part of that? Which it absolutely should be, in my opinion. Again, not medical advice, but I know that this made the ultimate difference for me when nothing else would, and we've seen it over and over again. So then, what about the equipment? What makes the right tools for the job? How do we work smarter and not harder? How do we get that task done in less time and do things that other tools can't do? Accelerate that progress. Ensure that it is done right the first time, and we don't have to go back and redo it. Spend time, spend money on going back through things. Let's get it done right the first time. There's different tools for different jobs. Sometimes it's very intricate. We need little tools to make the job done right. Sometimes we need a power tool to get through the tough things. Sometimes we need that excavator or that dump truck or that plow, whatever the case may be. And it's the same with your health. Do you need the testing first? Do you need to see what is going on to understand where to start, where to focus? Do you need something more surgical, something more precise? Do you need some chemical help? Because if your like I said, go to your doctor. None of this is medical advice. See what they say first, and get the help that you need. Is it simple physical therapy or that electrical stimulation there? And as Danielle so eloquently just put it, we know that it all comes down to that cellular voltage, that power in your body, and nothing delivers that better than the Senergy devices, the Tennant biomodulator, the original Tennant biomodulator, and the Senergy biotransducer models. They get it in better than any other device on the market, bar none. Check it out for yourself. I am a living testament of that, as is Danielle and so many others. It is really what made the difference for me and the thousands of others over the past 2 decades that have come to Senergy when nothing else would work. So let's find out why. Why is this the case? Why does the original Tennant biomodulator get the voltage in your cells back charged where they need to be to do their thing, to rejuvenate, to heal in a way that the other devices on the market can't do? Well, these have been around for 2 decades. The original Plus here, it has your 4 core modes. It is a phenomenal starter. That's what I started with. And it has technology that is biocompatible with your cells. Like Danielle said, it is speaking essentially the exact same language of your cells. It's using what's known as a biphasic sine wave. And what that is a curved wave at the top and the bottom. If you think of your biology, it comes in natural flowing motions. It's not digital like a computer, ones and zeros, sharp edges, flat corners, on or off. You need to be able to get in at the cellular level. And a TENS unit, which is just blasting you with that voltage, that is what's known as a square wave, is designed to be disruptive. It is not designed to integrate into your cells in any way. It is designed to block the pain signal from where you're having the pain to your brain. So it is a temporary fix. That's why when you get it on your body, most often you need to keep cranking it up until you're at the maximum level and you still feel that pain, because it's blocking the signal temporarily, but then your body says, well, I can't really use this at all. I can't really do much with this. So I'm just going to kind of ignore it. And my cells aren't benefiting at all. I'm not getting into the root of why I'm having the pain. So what do I do with this? The biomodulator works differently. It uses that biphasic sine wave to get in and talk to the cells so that you are alleviating the pain, because the whole area is getting better instead of the pain signal not reaching the brain. There is a massive difference there. So the great thing about that is it not only helps in the moment while you have it on you, it also is working for hours and hours afterwards as your cells are integrating this new voltage, this new power, and recycling, getting all of the junk out, healing from the inside out as they're able to do what they do naturally, because now they have the membrane potential in order to do that. They're able to send signals to each other where they were disrupted before. Now the biomodulator gave them the ability to alleviate that pain from the bottom up, build that foundation instead of just temporarily blocking it. And that is what is in all of the original Tennant biomodulator models. Our manufacturer is right here in the United States, in Texas. They are meticulous at making sure that this mechanism of action actually does what it says it does on skin, instead of just for an FDA clearance or whatever. They make sure they're absolutely crazy about this, and I will hopefully have some examples to show you at our larger event of what this looks like on paper, to see the Senergy difference of what these devices do versus some competitors, because it is stark. And for anyone who's ever felt these devices, they know that. But I would really love to be able to show that. So I'm working with them on that. But not only does it have that amazing wave that gets in at the cellular level, charges you up, really, really makes a massive difference. But it also is a two-way conversation. It's not just blasting you with that energy. It's using what's known as a cybernetic loop to adjust in real time to what your unique body needs. And that is critical too, because so many devices on the market claim to have a similar concept, similar techniques at charging the cells, but they're not adjusting to what your body needs. So minute 1 could be very therapeutic with a device like that, but minute 10 might be overdoing it. You might have gone from really, really beneficial to now it's too much. Now your cells are going to start rejecting that signal because it can no longer integrate the energy that is being fed to it. Think about it. Your cells are doing their thing all day long without you really noticing it. So if you're cranking up the energy to a point where it is really, really too much for your body to handle, it's going to see that as a threat instead of something that might have started out as good. And you don't want that to happen. You want it to be therapeutic throughout the entire session. And that is what the biomodulator also does so well, because it's adjusting thousands of times per second to make sure that that signal is exactly what your cells need to absorb it, to integrate it, and that your therapy is amazing each and every time that you do it, because every day you're going to be in a little bit of a different situation. You're going to be more tired, less tired. You're going to have a really great sleep. You're going to be a little bit more stressed this day. And each time you put it on, you're going to get a different sensation. It's going to send something different, and it's going to give you the therapy that you need on that time, on that place, because of the way that it's structured. So a really, really amazing technology in this. Like I said, the Plus is your easiest, lowest barrier to entry. It has our 4 core modes in it, super simple interface, really, really amazing device to get started with. That is what I started with. That is what so many people start with. And if you just need to get the voltage back in, that is the device for you. Our Plus 2 is our newest device. That is really the best value device because it's such a great balance between the Plus and the Pro devices at a great price point as well. We've tested so many modes over the past 20 years. We put our 7 most effective, our most sought after modes that everyone seems to have an amazing time with. And we put those in the Plus 2, along with so many of the professional features of the Pro model, like the screen, the timing, the reaction data that shows you the local voltage at that spot at that time. It has so many of the Pro features, but in a price point that is closer to the Plus. So it's really accessible for a lot of people who don't want to go for the full Pro, which the Pro is absolutely the best on the market, bar none, in my opinion. It's the GOAT. It has 59 preset modes, and then another mode that is your custom mode. You can save your custom options. There's millions and millions of custom combinations that you can get in there. It has the largest frequency set that I know of on the market. It goes from 0.5 hertz to 2,500 hertz. So whatever life throws at you, you can handle it with the Pro in conjunction with whatever else that you're doing. But there's no other device in this form factor that has that wide of a frequency range so that you can really get in there with what you need for that specific thing. And the preset modes are amazing as well, because they will cycle through a lot of those frequencies in a way that's been tested and been proven to really make strides that others that are just single frequency or that haven't been tested as well can do. And we're really, really proud of all of those custom options. A lot of them are proprietary, but they are fantastic to feel in the moment, because you're not necessarily sure what frequency your body is going to react to in the moment, especially if it's a systemic issue. You want to bathe it in kind of a lot of different frequencies and allow your body to absorb the right ones for it. And that is what our infinity mode, for example, does. The VA step, huge frequency range there. And these have shown over and over to just be fantastic on the body. And they really made a huge difference for me. Now let's talk about the biotransducer, because not every time are you going to be able to get the physical stimulation that you have with the biomodulator. The biomodulator requires an electrode to touch the skin in order to get that therapy into you. But if you attach the biotransducer or some of the other accessories that I'll get into in a moment, you can have touchless therapy, which allows you to get in and start your therapy before you're able to physically touch that area. Say, for example, it's an open wound or just a sensitive area on the body. You can do it touchlessly with the biotransducer. And the biotransducer is not just a touchless one size fits all type of deal. It includes scalar energy. It includes PEMF, red light or blue light. Also, if you have the Pro model, it includes the frequencies because it attaches to any one of the original Tennant biomodulators. They're all cross compatible. It's plug and play, and you can use it wherever you need it. So the Crystal Wave model here, the Crystal Wave 3 is the latest Crystal Wave model. It is fantastic. It does not have an internal battery in it. You just plug it into the biomodulator. The biomodulator, you choose the frequency setting and it's plug and play. It does its thing. You can crank it up on your biomodulator. This is the only time I'm going to say this. You can crank the power up as high as you want it. It doesn't have to be all the way to the maximum. As if you're sensitive to it like I am and other people are, you might want to dial it back a little bit, but this is something that you can go all the way to the max on the power level of your biomodulator for, because it tends to be much more subtle, much more integrative. And you're free to do that. Make sure that your biotransducer is attached to your biomodulator before you crank up the power, because if you do not connect it first, that rear electrode of your biomodulator will be active. You will get shocked if you touch it. So just make sure that it's plugged in before you start to adjust the power level there. And this does what's known as a modified scalar wave, right? It's modified by our manufacturer on purpose. The scalar energy is most of it. It's where it's really the heart of the action. That is the energy, our natural energy, the natural energy of the earth. That is the waveless energy that we get out of the crystal wave. However, they made it so that it's slightly off so that you can pick it up and test it with a Gauss meter. And there's a small level of PEMF coming out of it. And it's much lower than what you would get out of like a PEMF mat or something like that. So for those of you who are sensitive to it, it's a very, very low level PEMF, but it's done so that you can actually test and see what is coming out of that and measure it with a Gauss meter. And it will show you the difference that it makes when it's connected to the biomodulator. So that is really cool. And it also uses the red light 660 nanometer. You can look up all the studies on that. And of course, it is a touchless version of that frequency therapy that you're getting out of the biomodulator. And the Biotransducer Pro takes it to another level. This is our latest product, it is military grade construction. It's made of a solid piece of carbon fiber, sapphire glass diffuser on the end, really, really tough stuff. Amazing internals as well. They made it so exacting with the coils and the crystal and all that great stuff that is in there to really give you the best therapy that you can get in that touchless form. It combines all of that good stuff. We added a 465 nanometer blue light as well. You can look up that in terms of the studies that have been done with that. It's not that harmful blue light that we're told to avoid, although you do not want to get it near the eye. You still want to stay away from the eyes. You never want to point it in the eyes. Regardless of red or blue, you use it on the side of the eyes if you need any therapy there for the red, and you want to avoid it with the blue as much as possible. You don't want to get it in that, but you can look up the 660 nanometer, the 465 nanometer red and blue light respectively on the studies that have been done on their therapeutic value. But the biotransducers just really open up all of the options of how you can do therapy, and it adds a whole new layer to what the biomodulator can do. It brings it to another level. If you look at how we what we call our daily practice, we do the autonomic nervous system first, as Danielle was talking about, because that shifts the entire system from that sympathetic fight or flight, stressed, tight state into a parasympathetic state that only takes a few minutes of vagus nerve stimulation with the biomodulator to calm that system down. We've seen it in cases like at the Healing Hut at the Warrior Games, where we work with wounded warriors and things like that. We've seen people who have been in really, really acute states that they cannot shift out of that sympathetic mode. And 10 seconds later, with the vagus nerve stimulation via the biomodulator, they are cool as a cucumber. So that is so critical, because if you're tight and you try to go after pain anywhere on the body, it is going to be that much more difficult to relax that pain away, even with something like the biomodulator that is so compatible. But if we shift that entire system to be able to relax, then it's that much easier to make that pain at that one location melt away. And then if we add on the biotransducer after we've reset the nervous system, calmed everything down, you're in parasympathetic, we use the transducer over the head to harmonize all of that energy that has just been put into the body, and make sure that it's not just floating around doing nothing. We know that if we take a bunch of batteries, I put it on the table here, yes, they're all charged, but they're not actually powering anything until we put them in the right way into our flashlight, for example. So that's what the biotransducer helps with. It helps harmonize all that energy so that it can flow throughout the system and use it the way that your body needs to use it to revitalize and heal. And so it's really a 1-2 punch, that combination that I don't see anywhere else on the market. And it really, really helps with everything that you need. And then you can move on to whatever else is in that system that you need to take care of. If there is a pain point, Danielle is going to show us at those bigger events really how to get in there and alleviate that pain. If there's something more systemic, do we need to go to our accessories like the hand grips and foot plates here, where we're going to get energy throughout the entire system, stimulate all of those cells in a way that they understand that they can that they can revitalize and really change the whole landscape there all at once? Or do we need something very specific? The comb electrode at the top here that looks like the brush that gets in between the hair follicles, because we need a good contact point with the physical stimulation. So is that something that you want to add to your repertoire? That small electrode below the Y there, that is for, it's great for the face. It's great for little areas that need very specific points of contact. Same with the acupuncture, electrode or the drumstick electrodes. These are very specific points that you can really get into, and really heal in a way that is unlike other other devices that don't have all of these types of accessories. Or we have things like the red light pad. That is another touchless form that is absolutely amazing. And that is hands-free too. With the hand grips and foot plates, you need to hold them to get that full body stimulation. With the red light pad, you can have it behind you like I do often as I'm working, and that will stimulate, and it connects into your biomodulator. It sends those frequencies through in a red light capacity, which is super cool as well. So what would really work for your specific situation? Let's write those down. If you already are a device owner, how can you use it to maximum effect? Call us if you have any questions. If you've been using it for a while, you've just been doing the daily practice, we'd love to help get that even stronger in your body. If you want to do something like the red light pad, we would love to get one of those in your hands, because it really helps when you don't have the ability to hold something. When you want that touchless therapy, it gets a little warm too. It's got some infrared in there, so that is great. Or our Axiom line is amazing as well. If you want high quality hydrogen water, those devices can be fantastic. It goes from just a bottle that you can take with you, which is fantastic on the go, or something under the counter on the counter that is more larger, and all the way up to industrial strength, to get the hydrogen water into your body. And make sure that the electricity, the energy that you're getting into your body actually stays there, that it actually can integrate into a well-hydrated cell. If we just put it in, then we can get some leakage, sometimes a lot of leakage, if we're not paying attention to what we're also putting into our body, or lack thereof. If we're very dehydrated, the energy is not going to stay in our cells. The voltage is going to go away because we don't have properly hydrated cells to integrate and get all of that to stay where it needs to stay. And then as we go to sleep, integrate, revitalize. So when we wake up the next morning, we are that much better. So that is a brief overview of what these devices can do. And if you want right now to get the best voltage deal of 2026, get the voltage back into your body as we speak, we're having an incredible deal. This is our entry level package. If you just need to get that voltage back in, we have the Plus Biomodulator here, along with our Crystal Wave 3, some of our most popular accessories like the Y electrode, super versatile. You can reach back pretty much all areas of the body with its long wand. It's an amazing attachment. We have the patches as well. You can leave it on for longer term therapies. And if you bought all of these separately, it would be just around $7,500. We package it together. We want to give you a great deal. It's usually around $6,000 for this package, already discounted. But we want to do an extra $1,000 off of this package. $4,997 is your deal for the Plus package. This is your best deal that you can get the voltage into your body right here, right now. Don't wait. Do it as soon as you can, because the longer you wait, the more waste can accumulate in the system, the more damage can be done. So you want to start getting that voltage in immediately and build from there. Get that foundation, like we've talked about all day, in so that your body has a fighting chance at dealing with whatever else is going on in there. And when you buy anything from Senergy, it comes with that white glove service that Scott talked about. We are here for you. We will do what's known as a launch call. We're going to help make sure that you know the ins and outs of your device. We have an amazing education center. Danielle is contributing to that. She has some incredible videos on there of how to use these devices that are free with your purchase. There's some higher level education that she does as well that is paid for, but a lot of it is free in our education portal once you buy the devices, and you can get a really, really great start there. And we're constantly coming out with more stuff too. So it's always getting better and better in there, and you have access for life to all of that. So if you want to act now, call us, set up an appointment, ask questions right here. We'll take some questions here at the end if anyone has any, and get that voltage back into your body. And if this isn't the right package for you, or you're already a device owner, you want some accessories, call and we'll see if we can customize something for you. We'll see what is right for your unique needs, and we will make sure that you get the best deal on whatever that is. So, but this is an absolutely phenomenal deal. I can't believe they're letting me offer this. So act now while you can, until this goes away. So that's that. So I crammed a lot in here. We heard from Danielle. We heard from Scott. What if you want to learn even more? What if you want to hear from even more industry experts, compare the different options, get the unique insights, find supplemental tips and tricks that is really hands-on, learn the techniques, ask your questions in real time and get the answers, and meet a lot of cool people from the community that will help along the way as well. You might make some new friendships. Where can you do that? Well, that is at our Senergy Wellness Foundation of Health Biomodulator 101 class in March. It's the 7th and 8th in Irving, Texas. If you can make it in person, I highly recommend it. We're going to be doing a lot of hands-on stuff, but it's also going to be amazing on virtual too. So however you can make it, I highly recommend that. We have a huge panel of experts that are going to be coming and sharing the way that they use these devices in what they do. And each one is super different. I learn something new every single time from all of these people. We have some new speakers that haven't been on the Senergy stage before, so that's going to be cool. And we're going to have, of course, some live event only specials that are there. I can't guarantee I'm going to match that plus package special, but there's going to be some specials there. So check those out. And if you have any questions, like I said, call us, see what your options are. If you're a device owner, see if you can come for free. We do have that option for recent device owners. See if you qualify for that. It is $450 for a non-device owner to come either virtually or in person. And it's just an amazing deal for the in-person. It's really going to be fun in Irving, which is just outside of Dallas. It's March 7th and 8th. It's going to be all day, each day from approximately 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So get ready for that. That is on the weekend for those of you who aren't sure about which those dates are. And these are just some of the speakers that we have. We got Scott Tennant. We got Dr. Amy Marshall, Sandra Bontemps, Brendan Legal, Karla Bass. We got Dr. Francisco, me. I'm sorry, you're stuck with me. And we have Tamara, and we also have Danielle as well. With Natalie is going to be around too, and potentially more speakers. They all have something very different to offer and to share with you about how to use these devices in real world situations. So stay tuned for that. And then, like Danielle said, her and Natalie are going to be putting on an amazing show later that week, March 12th to the 14th, they're going to be doing that in-person certification. And like she said, if you sign up for that, you're getting 2 credentials in one. You're getting that online certification option as well. You get access to the course and you get to come in person. It's going to be very intimate. It's going to be something that almost no one on the planet is doing right now. And she has gone through and made sure that you're going to get a certification. I'm not going to go into that, but she will, as to what that means and what that could mean in your clinic, or if you don't have one, if you're thinking about becoming a therapist, what that'll mean for you as well. So super, super excited for that. So write down what you want to learn about your health. Write it down in the comments, actually, because I want to see, and we want to integrate that more into the future events that we do. We want to make sure that you get your questions answered, that we're not just here like so many of the other equipment or companies out there, that we're just talking at you. We want to have this be a true two-way conversation like the biomodulator does with the body. We want to make sure that you get your questions answered, that you feel heard and seen, and that we're not just saying the same things over and over again. That's why we did some things a little bit different this time. We wanted to not go over the same things that we're going to talk about at the event. We're going to go really, really deep at that event. So if that's something you're interested in, please sign up for that. If you haven't already, get other people to sign up for it. It's going to be amazing. And we're looking forward to that. This is really that foundation. Now you know what it takes. It gives you another way to think about things, and you can take that with you to these bigger events and really understand it at an even greater level now that you know what it means to you, what is unique to you, and how are you going to use these devices to make your health even better. So that's the foundation blueprint. We got the great contractor. You have the vision. You got over the constraints. You have the mindset to get into the best shape possible. You talk to the experts who you need to get the permits from. You demoed everything out. You started with that clean slate. You know what materials, that energy that needs to be into the foundation. You saw what the Senergy equipment can do for your health. And you now know how to learn even more about how to make your health the best possible it can be in 2026 and beyond. So what does your health ultimately look like? If you put that all together, how are you going to be now and in the future? What is your inner superhero? How does your foundation look? And what are people going to say when they see you and you are a completely changed person because you decided to prioritize your health and get into the best shape possible? Join us March 7th and 8th. It's going to be a fantastic time. Like I said, here are the links. We're going to pop them in the chat as well for the Foundation of Health Summit, that Biomodulator 101. And for the March 12th to the 14th, that practitioner training, that is super amazing and exclusive. And you get both the online training and the in-person. And like Danielle said, we have more to come on that as well. And if you're ready to pull the trigger, we have that $1,000 off the plus package, or we can customize something for an accessory, a package, whatever the case may be for you. Contact us, set up a Calendly if you want to talk in detail. Those are free for the first meeting. We would be happy to talk to you and for you to find out the Senergy difference. And thank you so, so much for sticking with us. If you have any questions, please pop them in the chat. We would be happy to answer those here or anytime in the future. Please contact us, and we would love to talk to you. Let's see. Do we have anything here? Okay. The hand grips and foot plates, they are I have a question here about the hand grips and foot plates. Yeah, and it's about whether that two-way conversation, that cybernetic loop happens with those. Yes, they are an electrode. So any of the electrodes is going to have that two-way conversation. It's going to be sensing what is happening in your body in real time and adjusting based on what it's sensing. The hand grips and foot plates are great because they're the largest electrode that we have. And so they're the most systemic way to get that direct voltage without the touchless therapy from the biotransducer or a red light pad or something along those lines, or maybe something even more that we might be coming out with soon. So stick around for that. But yes, if you have one of the electrodes attached to the biomodulator, it is going through that cybernetic loop and it is having that two-way conversation with your body. And I know that, and I'm sure a lot of our device owners can attest to that as well. Every time I put it on my body, whether I'm doing ANS, whether I'm doing something on a pain point, whether I'm doing the hand grips and foot plates, it feels a little bit different, even though I'm using the same frequency setting. For example, if I'm using 10.8, which is a pretty stable frequency, I notice different subtleties each time I'm using it because it's seeing what is going on in my body, because it's adjusting to what I need in that moment. And that is what is really great about it. And you will notice the difference as you use this, as you become a user daily, if that's what you decide to do. That is something that you will notice that a lot of other devices don't give to you. And that really makes all the difference. Like Scott was talking about in the beginning, it's sometimes you think you need this huge shift in order to get a breakthrough, when sometimes it's those little tiny shifts that make all the difference. And that biofeedback, for lack of a better term, it's not true biofeedback, but it's that cybernetic loop that adjusts. And it is what is going to make the difference in whether your cells absorb it or whether they reject it over time. And that is why I love using these devices daily. I was in terrible pain for over a decade. Nothing was integrating. I was trying all of those other things because that's what I was told to do. I didn't know about energy. I didn't know about voltage. I didn't know the importance. And even when I did, the things that I tried, like laying on a mat or being in a room that supposedly had energy, it wasn't moving the needle for me because it didn't have the things that the biomodulator has to really get in there and do what needs to happen in the body. So I'm so grateful to Scott and the whole Senergy team for being pioneers in this space for so long and still being there for each and every one of our clients. And we're still getting better. Come join us for these longer events, and you will have a fantastic time. I don't see any more questions, but like I said, you can reach out anytime to any one of our amazing advisors. We have probably over a century of combined experience between us. So reach out. It's on our website. You can set up an appointment on Calendly or call us anytime, and we would be happy to answer your questions. That is all for our Senergy Foundation of Health preview. I hope to see you all there in Irving or virtually at our larger events. And we have so many more planned for you that we will announce in the coming weeks and months. Stay energized, my friends, and have a amazing weekend. I will see you all soon. Take care.